Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. My name is Pam Goodell, and I am with the Institute of Transportation Engineers. Thank you for joining today to learn more about being a sponsor for the upcoming ITE 2020 annual meeting and exhibition. For those of you who tried to join the exhibitor overview call on Tuesday, I do apologize. I'm not quite sure what happened with GoToWebinar. However, it wasn't letting me start the meeting despite using several computers to try to make it happen. I did go ahead and record that webinar at another point, and if you go to the chat box, you will see a link or that will take you to that recording so that you can listen to it after this webinar. Also in the handouts, you should see a PDF of the sponsorship program. I will be covering that today, but it's just as a reference point after the meeting, after this call. So for this call today, I want to talk to you about how the sponsorship program for our annual meeting and exhibition has changed slightly due to moving from an in-person meeting to a virtual one. We still plan on offering as much, if not as more exposure and visibility to our sponsors, but there have been some changes that I want to make you aware of. And we are actually going to be reaching out to all of our existing sponsors to make sure that they are still on board. We can't anticipate there wouldn't be a reason for that to happen. And if there are necessary changes, we will work with you on that. The first thing I want to show you is this is the page annual meeting site that you should be pretty familiar with. It's something that we've done in the past. It has all the basic information about our annual meeting. And then I have scrolled to the bottom so you can see that we have currently listed all of our existing sponsors, and I would anticipate moving forward all of our sponsors. So this will remain and continue to grow as we add additional sponsors. You'll be continued to be listed here on the website. Also, in the technical program, for those of you who are sponsoring sessions, you can see an example here that we will continue to list you as a session sponsor, much like we've done here. Our ITE Consultants Council is a sponsor, one of the sponsors of the opening session. What I am going to ask all of the organizations who have currently signed up to sponsor a session is please do take another look at the program. We did need to make some changes and additions due to not all the speakers being available during the time frame and due to the nature of the change. So please do take a look at the program, and Tima will be reaching out to you, or you can reach out to Tima just to make sure that those are the sessions you still want to sponsor, or there might be different ones or additional ones that you want to sponsor. So we definitely don't want to presume anything here. We want to make sure that we are 100% transparent with you and allow you to recommit to those session sponsorships. If you are a new prospective sponsor, again, I would invite you to take a look at the sessions, see what sessions might be of interest to you, and then reach out to Tima. I will be going over the benefits and the opportunities of being a sponsor in just a second, but I did also want to make sure that I showed all of you how we are going to continue to have that visibility and exposure for you. So as some of you may be aware, we are going to be using the Blue Sky platform that we use for our webinars as the host of our virtual conference. So I'm going to take you over there now just to kind of get a behind the scenes look at what we are going to do. And for all sponsors, you can see here at the bottom, yes, it says hidden. When the meeting starts, it won't be hidden, but there'll be a sponsorship section here that will list all of the logos of our sponsors on that section, as well as you can see here, as a day sponsor, or I'm sorry, as a day, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We have the list of all of the days that are taking, and all the days of the week where sessions are taking place. So as you delve into this, you will see each section itself. So I'm just going to jump into multi-lane myth busting for Roundabout Mavericks, which sounds like a fabulous section, fabulous session to attend. And so here is another opportunity where we will be listing sponsors in this section, and there will be a link to either your booth if you choose to take advantage, virtual booth if you choose to take advantage of that, or your website. That will be your choice. So that is, those are two areas where we will be providing that visibility and exposure. Also, as you will see shortly, we are offering week and day sponsorships. So if you are a sponsor for a day, all of the sessions on this day, as I'm waiting for the website to go back, every session on this day would have your logo on it. If you are a week sponsor, those 3 days would have your sponsor as well. I'm sorry, your logo as well. And that does remind me that I should take a step back, and I'm going to go back to the program just for a second, because I realize that maybe some of you are not completely aware. I've spoken to so many people that I'm not always clear on what we're talking about here with the overall program. So to facilitate the virtual nature of our program, we are hosting the annual meeting over a 3-week period, 3 days a week, August 4th through August 20th. And as you can see here, we will have plenary and technical sessions and poster presentations during the first week, and then plenary and technical sessions, poster presentations, and workshops. And these workshops are going to be 2 hours in length rather than the 4 hours that we have typically done. The second week and then the third week will be those ITE council and committee meetings. We have flexible registration, full registration, days, week registration, and day registration. And that information would be on the registration tab right here. I'm not going to go over that right now. Sponsors do get a certain number of complimentary registrations, and I'll go over that in a second. But I did want to make sure that you had a framework for the conference, and I apologize for having to go back. But let me go ahead now. And so going back to this, as I was saying, if you are a day sponsor, your logo would be on that day. If you're a week sponsor, it would appear on all that sessions for those 3 days for that week. I'm going to take just a quick peek into the exhibitor information, which is we're starting to set up now. And this is what would be mirrored for the sponsors. So you would come to a page that would be built out that would have all the sponsor logos here. And then if you are going to take advantage of having a virtual booth or do not already have one, these virtual booths are listed down here. And depending on the sponsorship you choose, you will have the opportunity to have more than one virtual booth. I would recommend those of you who are either exhibitors or considering being exhibitors, or would like to know more about how these virtual booths are set up, to do take a look at the link that is in the chat button. We will also be sending that out to everybody, as well as a recording to everyone who attended or signed up for today's sponsorship overview, so that you'll have that as reference. And then as you have questions, please answer them in the question box. And if you can't see the link, just be assured that I will be sending it out to everybody following the meeting. Okay, so that is basically an overview of the website and how we will be managing the exhibitors and sponsors on these platforms. I now want to switch over to the sponsorship program so that you can see what we're offering. The one thing I do want to mention is we are offering a goodwill sponsorship opportunity up here, where if there is a sponsor who would like to underwrite the cost of sending students to this conference, we are looking for assistance in that regard. And if you are interested, please reach out to Tima and she will get you in contact with the correct people for you to talk to about that. So then let me just scroll down. The other thing I want to mention very quickly, for some of you who had sponsorships around badge holders or lanyards or other things that we aren't able to do due to the virtual nature of the conference, I want to assure you that you will not lose your right of first refusal for the conference next year in Portland. That is a very important element of the sponsorship program for us, and so I want to make sure that you know about that. So then as we move into the sponsorship program overall, there are two aspects of this I want to talk to. First of all are the levels of sponsorship that we are offering, and then, excuse me, I will go into some of the a la carte issues or sponsorship opportunities. So as you can see here, one change to the sponsorship program from what we had offered previously is that we've condensed the levels down to 3. And we've moved from medal names and gem names to 3 titles: innovator, leader, and champion. And while I won't go over everything in detail because you do have that in your chat box, I do want to cover a few key things. The number of booths that you will get, as you saw on that the example with the exhibitors, you can have more than one booth if you to represent your products and services. And here you can see how that is depicted. Also, as I indicated earlier, we have increased the number of registrations that sponsors can receive. Now, this is not for speakers. This is mainly for those individuals within your organizations who would be attending the conference. You can assign a number of complimentary registrations to that, those individuals. Also, we will be offering our champion level sponsors the ability to do a virtual drop-in. That is an opportunity to have a live interactive presentation with your attendees. And then, you know, as you can see here, we will continue to recognize sponsors through our social media channels as well as on our homepage, as I showed on the ITE conference page. If you are sponsoring a specific session, you might remember walking into a room with a PowerPoint slide that welcomes attendees into the room and acknowledges the sponsor. we will have the same sort of slide, just virtually, so that when somebody comes into the session online, that sponsor session will be there. We will also work with you if there's content that you want to put out on our ITE, and that's supposed to say ITE LinkedIn corporate page. We will be pushing out content from you as well. Again, an opportunity to have a Facebook Live or Periscope event. We've done that previously for our sponsors. Ad placement, add in the guidebook. So I do want to talk a little bit about the guidebook. For our in-person meetings, we normally do a registration brochure, which is mailed out to people and then placed online. And then we have our guidebook, our on-site program, which is handed out to attendees at the meeting. Since we're not doing a virtual meeting, or since we're not doing an in-person meeting, we are going to create a condensed version of that on-site program. That is where your ad will be. That will be placed online as well as sent to all attendees. That's where your ad will be. And this guidebook is not only going to contain information about the program, but it'll be information about helping attendees access the virtual meeting, giving them tips and tools for making sure that they can make the best out of that experience for the virtual. I know that in the recent months, people have become very adept with virtual, like Zoom and GoToWebinar and platforms like this, but not everybody has, and we want to make sure that everybody can maximize their experience. So that's what that guidebook is going to cover. And so then you will continue to see additional opportunities to gain exposure and visibility. The next thing I want to cover is these a la carte opportunities, because these also have changed slightly over the in-person options. So starting off first, we do have our technical session sponsor. That is a very popular sponsorship option. It is something that is easy to carry over. And then, but then as I mentioned, we are continuing with, I mentioned our day, week, and title or day and week sponsorship. So I won't cover those. You can see that if you choose, for instance, the day sponsorship, you would be recognized as an innovator at the innovator level and get those benefits, but then you would also get these additional benefits here. A great opportunity to consider is if you want to send a branded gift to a specific audience, we have a vendor that can work with you to not only choose that item that you can put your logo on and then send it, and that could be virtually. So you could send, for instance, those ubiquitous Starbucks gift cards to a select audience, or you could actually send a water bottle, for instance, to people. But like I said, we do have a vendor that can help you select and then fulfill that order. If you're interested in teaching a cooking class or a dancing class, that's a great sponsorship opportunity where you get a lot of involvement from people. It's fun. I think we do have at least one board member who's going to be doing a cooking class as part of our social networking. But for all the wannabe chefs that want a unique and creative sponsorship opportunity, that's something to consider. You could also consider hosting a happy hour. It would have to not conflict with something that ITE is doing. We do have social events planned, but if you want to plan a happy hour for a specific audience that you would plan that doesn't conflict with an ITE event, that's something else to consider. And again, it can be for a specific audience and we can work with you on that. And you can see some of the benefits that you would retain here. And then you can also, one of the new things that we're offering again on a creative level is if you want to schedule a one-on-one interview with either your company's CEO or a senior level executive, we would post that in the special on our publications area in our ITE journal. We have a special area for special articles such as this. And then we would promote it out through all of our social media channels and on our homepage that this article took place. It's a really great way to get additional recognition for your company. And then, as you can see, we also are offering the title sponsorship. So that really does cover all of our existing a la carte items. As always, we do not have the end all and be all of sponsorship items or ideas. So if there is something that you have seen or something else that you've done at another virtual conference that has worked well for your company, we are willing to consider it. So I would suggest reaching out to Tima. And you can see some of the items down here that people have done to send out to others, either virtually or in the mail. So I hope that your thinking caps are on. And with that, that is my overview. Tima, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Tima, is there anything that you would like to add?
Now, I think you mentioned a lot of things. Like I said, we are definitely open to any suggestions or any ideas that you may have seen. Like Pam said, yeah, feel free to contact me or Pam. We're here for you.
And with that, I do open it up to any questions you may have. I do see one here. I do, please do double check the chat box to make sure you can see the links that I provided. If you can't, please let me know and I can get them to you. But I do open it up to questions. All right, well, I guess I must have done a complete job because I do not see any questions currently. I will give it another second. And then we can just go ahead and wrap it up for the morning. Tima will be following up with all of you individually in the next couple of days. But I do recommend, if you haven't taken a look at the program, please do so. And she will be happy to help you. All right, well, with that, I do want to thank you for your time today. And I look forward to seeing all of you virtually at the conference. Tima, do you have anything to say to wrap up?
No, I just look forward to seeing everyone, and please feel free to contact me anytime. But I will
All
try to
right,
reach everyone very soon.
all right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.